Compound versus isolation exercises.
It is important that we learn to distinguish between what is called a compound exercise, which could also be termed a strength exercise, versus an isolation or bodybuilding exercise. In order to understand the difference, let's first look at the squat. The squat belongs in the compound exercise category because it uses multiple large muscle groups. In order to do a squat, you are using quads, hamstrings, and glutes as prime movers, as well as abdominal muscles to stabilize the pelvis and spine. So it would not be incorrect to consider the squat a nearly full body exercise. Same with the deadlift. And as such, the sensation of muscle fatigue and where you feel the work is more generalized as opposed to being highly concentrated in one particular muscle group like you would experience in a lateral shoulder raise. Another way to conceptualize the difference between the two is this. Compound strength exercises are multi-joint exercises, while isolation exercises are single joint exercises. The reason this distinction is important is because I want you to place much more emphasis and importance on the compound strength exercises as opposed to the bodybuilding isolation exercises, for the simple reason that the compound exercises build overall strength and muscle mass much more quickly and efficiently than isolation exercises, and therefore do a much better job when it comes to moving the needle in terms of health metrics. Compound exercises also allow us to use much more weight, which loads the skeleton and provides a much more significant stimulus for retaining and building bone density compared to bodybuilding isolations. Compound strength exercises closely mimic how we move and use our bodies in the real world. Therefore, getting stronger and more experience in these exercises will have a much greater impact on your physical capacity and quality of life than if we place too much emphasis on the bodybuilding isolations. Outside of a bodybuilding context, we don't find much opportunity to use our muscles in isolation. And the original purpose for the creation of these exercises was to maximally develop each individual muscle for an aesthetic rather than a functional purpose. The most common mistake that beginners make in the gym is focusing too much attention and energy on bodybuilding isolations at the expense of progressing the key foundational compound strength exercises. Besides being less functional, isolation exercises are more difficult to progress. Beginners often perform them with less than optimal technique and too much weight, making them ineffective from an overall strength and function standpoint, as well as ineffective from their intended aesthetic bodybuilding standpoint. This is perhaps the most expensive mistake a beginner can make in terms of wasting their time, energy, and discipline while getting minimal returns in terms of improved health metrics and increased physical capacity. The first three exercises in each workout are our primary compound strength exercises. These exercises will be done for 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions. The last two exercises in each workout are our isolation and core exercises that play a secondary supplementary role. These exercises will be done for 2 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions.